I'm here for it.
Welcome to Conversations with Malik podcast. We would like to thank everybody who listens and watches this show. Please don't forget to follow us at convoswithmalik.com, convoswithmalik.com. There you will find all of our social media links. We're on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, iTunes. And then check us out on Instagram at ConWMalik. We're on YouTube and Facebook, Conversations with Malik. Like, subscribe, share. And, but before I start the show, I want to give a few shout outs to everybody who makes this show possible. Kareem the Dream Rahim, who does a great job with all the audio engineering and cleaning everything up and making us sound professional. Justin Ma, social media manager. Shout out to my co-host with the most, Jeff Jones, my other co-host, Mona Bish, essential worker who's out there on the grind. As soon as this lifts, we're going to be back to doing what we do. And, just everybody who sends over all the PR people who send over their people for me to interview. And I would probably get killed if I started this interview without mentioning Yvonne Diva Daz, for setting this whole thing up. Thank you, my sister. That's my sister right there. And, if you're looking for somebody to help you, you need some publicity, you need a PR person, check out Yvonne Diva Daz. She's the best. And all of them over there, Preston and Delvon and the whole crew over there, Small Boutique Fashion Week, that's family. So, much love to them. And listen, I'm always, and so of course, everybody who has lost a loved one, who has lost somebody as a result of this virus. I was on a funeral this morning, on a Zoom funeral. My boy from around my way, same age as me, he passed, and 2 weeks later his mom passed. So, shout out to the Miller family, Jamaica, Queens. I know everybody's hurting, and it was so many people on the Zoom interview. So I would be remiss if I started this without saying, listen, my thoughts and our prayers go out to everybody who has been directly or indirectly affected by this. Thoughts and prayers with you. But on a lighter note, we're here to provide inspiration and education so that we can continue to build our nation. I just came up with that just so. And look, I'm here with Robin Carter Bryant. How you doing, Robin?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. And listen, she's one of New Jersey's highly recommended broker salesperson with Keller Williams Realty. Her mission is to align her business systems and strategy to support her clients with excellent customer service and communication services through the latest technologies, compassion, and genuine care. And I give you Robin. How are you? How's it going?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate you taking the time to set up, have this interview. And yes, shout out to Yvonne Daz. She definitely made a great connection here. So I look forward to, talk about what's going on.
Yeah. So, we're living in, before we get to the times that we're in, how are things looking in just the whole, real estate market and everything? How are things looking before now?
Pre-COVID-19?
Pre-COVID.
All right. So pre-COVID-19, we had a shortage of inventory, meaning everyone was scrambling to find a home. So buyers were out here looking for homes. There was low interest rates. A lot of programs were opening up that weren't open before. No doc loans started coming out. People with credit scores, of course, 580 and up were being qualified for homes. And and
wow, 580?
Oh yeah. And people were getting their credit, right. And really were motivated to do so. And the only issue was when you found the home, people didn't understand you had to make a move. And make a move, meaning you see, let's say you go out one day and you see 3 houses, these are the only 3 houses you've seen for the past week left over. Maybe you started with 6 and it's down to 3. You go and see it, you're gonna have to make the decision the same day. You're gonna have to say, do I put an offer in? You're not gonna be able to go home and think about it because it'll be gone. That's what was happening. The funny thing is, in jumping forward just a little bit, during COVID-19, the same thing's happening. I am filled with buyers right now who are ready to purchase, and the homes that they can see now are only the vacant homes, right? Because we're not going in other people's homes. So now there's a shortage of inventory still, and the same situation's happening. So depending on, what people's what they're going through in their personal life, whether it's like a situation where they need to find something because their lease is up, or, they're getting kicked out of wherever they are. The issue is now being able to find a home that you can show them, because I don't feel comfortable with virtual tours, and that's my personal experience.
Gotcha.
I'm willing to go out and show the home, but I'm not willing to say, okay, let's put an offer in if you haven't seen the home, because we know that pictures actually don't tell the whole story.
Oh,
and
definitely.
There's so many ins and outs of a contract. Once you're in, you want to know all your outs. And so you have to definitely plan, knowing what you went into, saying, okay, well, if this fails because I see it, then I want out. Or if you can't remediate such and such, because everyone thinks in real estate, it's all about price, and it's not. It's a lot.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not like buying a car.
So it's a lot more to it, like what?
Okay, so if you decided you want to buy a home and we started looking, there are several ways you need to know how you can get out of the contract before getting into the contract. And that's one thing your realtor should be telling you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's never about, okay, I see this house, it's 100, let's just pick even numbers here. It's 200,000. Okay. So this house is 200,000, and maybe you're like, well, I want to pay, 195. So there's two things. Okay, you want to pay $5,000 less. Let me tell you what $5,000 less is in your payment. Approximately $20, right? So you're telling me you're going to skip out on this home, offer not $5,000 less because you don't want to pay $20 more a month. How bad do you want the home, right?
Right.
So then that's a reasonable offer, though. That's not bad, right? But in the tight market, it's definitely a situation where bidding wars do happen, and you may have to go over the price. Now, let's say you have a client that says, I want the house is 200,000, but I only want to pay 150. So you're like, okay, they think we're back in 2010, 2009, 2008. Okay. Yeah. So then the thing is, you say, okay, now this is where the ins and outs are of a contract. You go ahead and you place that offer, let's say 150 on it, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say no one else is bidding against you, and the seller says, okay, I'll sell it to you for 150. Just a miracle happens, right? Right. Number one, now don't forget you have to get a home inspection, right? Mm-hmm. You get that home inspection, you find out X, Y, and Z is wrong with it. And then you have to get an appraisal. The bank is going to send their inspectors out. It's not a home inspection. It's just to make sure that the home is moving ready and everything pretty much opens and closes, turns on and off, right? Mm-hmm. The appraisal comes back and says, oh, you have, these windows are stuck. They don't open. They need to be redone. There's paint chips everywhere. You can't buy this home until the paint chips are cleared. Mm-hmm. Now, you've already discounted the seller $50,000. Tell me you're at the end of your inspections. You've put about $1,000 into inspections. Now tell me, you think the seller is going to fix those things? No, not at all. So the first in and out is the first home inspection, right? Where you get to realize, do you want this home, right? So if it's as is, you say in the clause, you make sure you have a home inspection clause that says, okay, I want this home, but if there are too many repairs, I want to be able to tap out if you're not.
And that's why the virtual tours don't work, because people need to come there. Because let me tell you something. We stayed at this house in Mexico one time, and this looked like, on the pictures, looked like something Brad Pitt would stay at, right? And it was a nice house, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't as big. Mm-hmm. The pool wasn't as big, because they shot that.
They used the wide angle cameras. Yes.
Right. So you gotta actually go and experience the place.
Right. So when you go in, like the one thing in dealing with an experienced agent is really important. And I have my little thing that I say that I don't think a realtor should be, if you really care about people while you're doing it, it's two different types of realtors. People who are passionate about helping people, and there's people who are passionate about making money. Right? Mm-hmm. So I come from a background.
And you can do both too.
You can, mm-hmm. Most definitely, right? Mm-hmm. So the ones that have never experienced, first of all, owning a home, you cannot help someone who's first-time buyer look forward to buying a home if you can't tell them what might and might not happen, or what could and could not happen, how to take care of things in a home. Because I feel like there should be instructions that go with buying a home. Although the system may not be set up for that. The system may not say, oh, you have to, educate your first time buyers and let them know how, what maintenance is like, what they should be doing to upkeep it, why buy a home. We'll get into that later. And then at the same time, you have people selling homes that can't guide you right. So if I see something, so an experienced realtor is the best way to go, because it's not how many homes you sold, but it is, right? Because it's how many home inspections you've seen that can help your client save so much money. For example, if I've seen over 500 home inspections, what do you think I've been through? I've been through renegotiations. I've been through what the remediations were, what the repairs were. I've been through knowing who to call, what to call, if that's a real warning sign or if it's not. Even after the sale, after something's been fixed, what we didn't know that this was going to happen. Those are experiences that I have, right? Those are experiences that an experienced agent has, and a non-experienced agent doesn't. Now, when you start looking at homes, you get that home inspection, right? And you're looking at all the different things. When I walk in a home, the first place I go is the basement. Why? Why? Because the foundation is the most important part of a home.
Right. I was about to say that.
Right. So if I see walls, and now I'm not allowed to go in the home and say, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong. No, I don't do that. But what I can say is, okay, so everyone knows to get a home inspection, but do you know there's like 20 other inspections that are available to you that you should be doing based on the home's first site when you first go in? So if I see a toilet that has like a water line in low water, or I see, or if I'm in the basement and I see, I don't know, a sump pump that looks like it's backed up or something, the next thing I'm going to say is, or if I see a leak coming out of a pipe, the next thing I'm going to say is, you might want to pay for an additional inspection, like a drainage scope, to see if your home is draining the plumbing, the sewage. Because if it's not, that's like $8,000 to fix.
Right. That's major.
Yeah. I just had a client who actually bought a home, refused a home inspection.
Refused?
Didn't want to spend $350 on a home inspection.
Oh, come on. You can't be serious.
I'm telling you, first time buyers. And then I said, okay, if you're not going to get the home inspection, because I can't force you to spend money, then what you need to do is you need to get a home warranty for a year, at least your first year, so you know that anything that backfires.
Yeah.
So remember when this all started, going back to when COVID started, we just settled right before COVID-19, and a week later he says, Robin, I have a big backage in my home, and there's no basement in this home. The home was what's it called? I don't know why it's a flip. It's a flip. Okay. So the fact that it was renovated, it was a flip. I strongly suggest an inspection. Just because things look new don't mean they work. Right? Right?
They have a way of, these contractors have a way of cosmetic.
Yes. Put lipstick on a pig.
Lipstick on a pig. There you go.
Yep. So what happened was the drainage was so backed up, he couldn't find no one to come out because everybody was scared of coronavirus.
Right.
Now, he could have avoided that with either a $350 home inspection or $423 for a home warranty I was offering him that would have covered this. Do you know when he finally found a plumber, do you want to know what his bill was? $6,000.
And I know you poked him, because first of all, I'm coming out. I know you can't find nobody else. So you know what? You're getting the shaft, buddy. Yes. Bend over.
Hold up. You ready? And he bent over hard because of the fact that the guy just cleared out the drain and didn't fix it. When he put the camera in there, he said, you still have a cracked pipe and you have fragments of PVC floating in there I can't get to. So check this out. There's two parts of a home that people don't know. There's part of your home where the pipes belong to the public sewage. They'll come out if something's wrong. But then if it ends at the part where if your problem exists where your house starts going into your home on your lawn, that's your responsibility. Now, it would have cost him, I think $100 was the what's it called, the fee that you pay, if you have a home warranty for people, it's just $100. Yeah. It would cost him $100. It cost him $6,000. And the guy did not fix everything. He just cleared out the drain. I said, wow.
Catastrophe.
Wow. And you want to know, I beat it in his head. We had everything. He was going to get the warranty up until the closing table. And the next thing you knew, I put the paper in front of him. I said, please sign this so that we can go ahead and order your home warranty. He says, oh, I'll get it later when I have more money. I said, are you sure? And he said, oh, yeah. I was like, you want me to call you in a week? Yeah, sure. Call him in a week. Nothing. Like a couple days later, drainage problem.
So it's very important, and if you're listening to this show, and I've bought a home before, and going through the home buyer's process can be very tedious. It's a lot of paperwork. You know, it's an emotional, especially if it's a house that you want. You know, you're like, I just want the house. I just want the house.
Right.
It's very important to go through to cross all your T's.
Go through the process, yes.
Dot all your I's.
You know how many people I tell them to pump their brakes? I'm like, pump your brakes. And it might sound a little, like if I'm telling them what to do, but I'm not. What I'm doing is educating them. And I'll say, before we do this, let's get our ducks in a row. Let's just make sure. I'm not taking you out if you don't have a pre-qualification. You forget about that, right? But what I am going to do is make sure, because things happen. You could be the richest person. I've taken doctors out. I've learned lessons before. Taking doctors out, people who make over $300,000-$400,000 a year, and they still couldn't buy the home because something came up on their credit, like a judgment that was huge, from a lawsuit or something. So there's so many things people don't realize that can hurt them. They think they're really good to go, and they're not.
Right.
And so anyway, I tell them, I said, listen, you get the home inspection, then we renegotiate. You get your paperwork. Now, here's another way in and out. If you're a seller and your buyer doesn't have all their paperwork together to the mortgage company and the application process and the inspection completed, there's something called a commitment date that has to be met, which means the bank has so many days from the time that you put the offer in and went into contract to actually go ahead and give you an approval. You don't have an approval when you get a pre-qualification or pre-approval. That's a pre-approval. That not until they give you all your paperwork. They got to see, do you pay child support? What's coming out of your check? They get a transcript from the feds. They make sure that your blood is a type O, negative, whatever, right? But at the same time, once all that stuff comes back, it has to be done by a certain date on that contract. What people don't understand is you want to lollygag and relax and be like, yeah, I'll get it to them when I want. And guess what? That commitment date comes by. If that one day after the commitment date, you're out of contract. So all the money you spent on inspections, all the money that you put up for the deposit can be gone. If you don't have a realtor, number one, who knows how to protect you, who knows to say, hey, what's it looking like? We got a week to go before this commitment date is due, right? That's another way out of the contract where the seller can say, all right, we're moving on to the backup buyer before you, the day after that date that you have on the contract. So you can't have somebody who is, I'm not going to knock part-timers. I used to be a part-timer. I was a teacher, right? So I taught school and I was a realtor for the first 5 years, or 6 years. So what happened was I decided that once I became full-time, I was doing a disservice to my clients because I couldn't jump, right? Sometimes you got to jump. When you're full-time, you get a phone call, you're like, let me get this done. You can't be like, oh, I can't be on the phones right now. Or I can't text. You got to wait till I get off work. I'll shut my foot when I get off work. I was doing a disservice to my clients. The good thing was I had a little leeway where I had some pull and where I could, step out.
Right.
Still, it wasn't like, it's nothing like having, if this is your full-time job and you're making the call and you're saying, okay, I'm gonna handle this right now, right? And everything doesn't have to be done right now, but time is of the essence. And it can cost your client a lot of money, but there's ins and outs. Remember, inspection dates. People don't understand. You better order your inspection by the time and have it completed. If you want repairs done and into the seller within whatever the timeline is on the contract. For example, it could be 10 days or 14 days you have to get an inspection. If you wait till the third week or the week before closing or whatever it is, if you wait after that date, the seller don't have to do anything.
Seller doesn't have to do anything. Yeah. You can get caught up in a bad situation.
Yeah.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry.
And the thing is, with a lot of people are, they're a little unsure that they're thinking something, the other shoe is going to fall off in the process. Because I know that's how I was thinking. And I
Right.
said, "Man, what's going to happen that I'm not going to get this house?" You know, but at the same time, it was like, Malik, take it easy. If it's for you,
It's for, oh, I believe in that wholeheartedly. If it's
that's
for
what you're
you,
going to have.
it'll be for you. There are things that do fall apart, and it's and it's for a reason bigger than we all know, right? And that happened one time with me. A guy wanted a house so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up didn't get the bid. Ended up after a year, that house burned to the ground.
Wow.
Electrical problem.
Wow.
And he had like 3 kids that stay with him every so often. So imagine just little things like that. That's why I tell people, we're not going to force it. We're going to do what we can. That's why you got to make sure the person, when you say you worry about like what's going to happen next. I'm going to say this. I always tell my clients, text me. I don't care if it's 2:00 in the morning. You have a question on your mind. I know how I am. If I have a question, if I can't ask it right away, I'm going to forget it. If I write it down, I'm going to lose the paper. Just text me. I'll answer it when I wake up or when I have my phone again. I don't care because I put my phone to the side.
Yeah.
And not only that, you should have a process in place. Your agent should have a process in place, and you should know what it is. So you should know, okay, after I do this, what's next? So when somebody goes on a contract, in my email that I send to them is a video explaining what commitment date is, what inspection clause is, what every big word you can imagine. I'm talking to them just like I'm talking to you in a video explaining what's going to happen next. Right. And what happens if you don't do it, and giving them, who I suggest to use. And I'm telling you, a lot of people, the ones that are getting disappointed are the ones who are using these franchise banks and their what's it called, the credit unions. Mm-hmm. Because the rates are low, that those are the banks they need to go with. But at the same time, too many hands are on the file. If you have an experienced agent, I suggest just use the agent use the bank your agent says, I've done many deals with and never had a problem. Because Gotcha. Bank of America, TD Bank, all those banks, pain in the butt in the beginning. They'll have you showing houses, and the next thing you know, they say, "Oh, well, we didn't look at their W-2, like right before closing, like 2 weeks before closing." Like, wait a second, hold on, time out. You mean I've been driving around for 3 months showing houses and with this pre-qualification?
Yeah, that was the first thing I provided to you was the W-2. Why are you bringing this up now?
Right. And I don't get paid until, now it's different. In New York, I know some agents, they do get paid up front, but I don't get paid until we all go to the table. You get the keys, I get my check.
Right.
So if I'm driving you all over the place and there's no guarantee I'm gonna get my check, how upset you think I'm gonna be?
Oh, please, furious.
How upset you think you're gonna be when you think you're getting a house and you can't get it?
Right. So, y'all both tight.
Right. So these are the things that we have in place as experienced agents. And on top of that, so during COVID, so we got to make these quick decisions, right? So you better make sure you're with a good agent. And the good thing is, even though like people are in New York, I want to make this very clear. If you're in New York, you're in Florida, LA, I've been in open houses in LA, I've been in open houses in Miami, I've been all over. Okay. I have connections with top realtors that I've been in coaching with. We pay like $1,400 a month to be coached. We're all professionals. If anyone who's looking for a realtor in any area, I know how to pinpoint them, and I can actually direct them to them. So if you say, "Hey, Robin, I'm in Missouri. I need a good agent. Call me, and I'll set it up, and I'll set up the person to contact you." Because then for sure, I know what I'm looking for you as an experienced agent. You should get that kind of care.
Nice. So, and I got a couple questions because there's some things that I'm interested in, and I get these questions from people sometimes, and in some of the circles that I'm in. So, if you first-time home buyers, is for just a personal property, or is it also for an investment property?
Depends.
So if you use your first-time home buyers for personal property, then that's it. You can't use it again for the investment property.
Can I just say that first-time home buyer programs is a marketing tool? It doesn't really exist in a sense where you can be, I think it used to be like, if you didn't buy a house in 3 years, I'm not sure what it is now. You're still considered a first-time buyer. Just know that.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that you can buy a house today, sell it, and then buy another house, buy a house. Let's just go with the old. Let's just go what I know, because I'm not too sure about the new thing now. But let's say in 3 years you want to buy another house, you still qualify for a first-time buyer home program.
Where you could put the 3% down.
Yes, 3.5 for FHA.
Right.
Conventional can be 3%. You also got to know what kind of mortgage you're going to get. See, that's another thing. Oh my gosh, you're familiar with Zillow?
Yes.
Worst place to go. So, yeah, oh, they're horrible. So Zillow have you believing, right? When you go on there, you're just looking for a house like you're looking for a car. I like this car. I like this house. It doesn't work that way. So you can see a house and say, I really like this house. I want this house. It's $60,000. I was qualified for $200,000. I'm going to put $100,000 into it, and I'm going to live in it. It don't work that way. If it's $60,000, it's because for a reason. Number one, either location or condition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Location or condition. If you're pre-qualified for $200,000, you got to know what kind of loan it is to match that home. Meaning you're probably going to need a renovation loan, which is totally different.
Okay.
Different types of money involved in upfront in paying for different services that you may need, right? You can't just buy a home and say, oh, I can use up to this much to fix it. It doesn't work that way. You have to, in some banks, you're not supposed to say, like, they're not supposed to tell you this, but if you found a house that's $40,000, it's hard to find a mortgage for $40,000. No bank wants to do that loan.
Really? Because it's too cheap?
Yeah. Under $50,000. If it's over $50,000, they'll say, okay, we'll do it. But under $50,000, banks don't want to.
They're like, yo, just buy it.
Yeah.
Like you don't have $45,000 to buy the house, then yeah. I kind of get that.
Yeah. So there's different types of loans. There's ones that are better than first time buyers. There's USDA if you go in a rural area, that's zero down. There's these grant programs that I tell people, just weigh your options. They're giving you free $10,000, but your interest on that loan is high. Why don't you just go ahead and put up your little down payment and have a lower payment every month for the next 30 years?
Well, I'm interested in buying, like, I want to start really, I want to own more properties, and I want to have, like, I want to buy like a building with tenants, and I want to,
Right now?
Yeah.
With tenants now? Because they're not paying rent.
No, well, not right now. But
you'll still have a mortgage, and they're not paying their rent.
Yeah, not right. Not next week, Robin. But
right.
I'm talking about, after this breaks, I'm not doing anything until this breaks.
So you own a home.
Yes.
And you want to buy some property.
I want to buy some property, and so what would you suggest? Because I want to have that residual income coming, and I'm a small business owner.
Right.
So that's usually the small business owners, play is to, invest in some properties so that when I get, 60, 65 and something happens, or I fall on some, not hard times, but I just need some money to live off in my later years, I can always sell a home if I need to.
Right. So
I got that income coming in from my tenants when I retire.
Right. So first things first, when you're buying something like that where you want residual income, you want to make a good investment. You don't just want to be a slumlord. You be a slumlord, and then later on you can't get rid of the property when you do want to cash out. You always want to make sure that the home is kept in really good condition, that you're keeping up with, the roof and the foundation. You're making sure there's no leaks, because I see a lot of people who go buy a home, they're collecting rent, and they're doing nothing to make sure that this home is worth anything later down the road. And then when later down the road hits and they need that cash and they want to liquidate, then they can't like they thought they could. And so they end up keeping the rental. So that's one thing people don't understand. There's money that you have to put back into your rental in order to keep it going. The purpose of buying real estate is to cash out.
Okay.
Make sense? You don't buy real estate. You can do hold, right? But at the end, the purpose still is to be able to cash out.
Okay.
So the purpose of buying a home, I tell people, they're like, oh, well, I don't want to make that payment for 30 years, and I don't want to live in that house for 30 years. I have grown people calling me saying, I own my home, but I want to sell it, but I still owe a mortgage. I have to pay it off before I sell it. No, you don't. But people don't understand that. So I always tell people, stop shooting for the stars on your first home. Figure out how, especially if it's a struggle. If it's a struggle finding what you want. Find something that has great space, good structure in a neighborhood that you want to be in, right? And then make sure that your home isn't the best home on the block, right? So that the homes around you that are better than yours brings value to your home, and your home appreciates in value. It's just like putting your money into a bank and watching your money grow. You move into a home so you can watch it grow. So you keep it like a showroom. You keep fixing and doing things to it and upgrading. You don't put too much money into it because you don't want to put more money into it than it's worth.
Gotcha.
And so the thing about rentals, you won't be able to use the first time home buyer program, right? Unless you can do a 3.5% down, but not 3.5% down. I'm sorry. You have to put down 25%.
20, okay.
It's either 20 or 25. I think it's 20.
I think it's 20. I think it's 20.
Right. All these numbers. So 20% down if you want a second thing. So the next best thing is to do, you have a small business. So I'm guessing it's an LLC?
S Corp.
It's S Corp? Okay. So then you want to, the first thing you want to do is get a Duns and Bradstreet number, a Duns number.
Have that.
Perfect. You want to start, and for those who don't know small businesses, have you had your business more than 2 years?
Yes.
Okay. So then now you had your business for 2 years. You have a Duns number. You're buying pens every so often to just keep your score going, and grow that number, because that number is way different from your credit, your personal credit.
Gotcha.
You don't have to worry about your personal credit anymore. So if you're like, oh, I got to build my credit so I can go ahead and get an investment property. No, you don't. You build your business credit. Once you build your business credit, then you qualify for these loans. You qualify for these small business loans. Like right now, small businesses are getting, I think it's called PPP. They're getting PPP loans.
Payroll protection plan.
Yeah, there you go. So the PPP, people are getting 25,000, 100,000, whatever for their businesses. If you want to do that, that's what you need to do right now. Use that money, go invest, and then some of that money is going to be forgiven.
Yes, it is. If you over 85% of it.
Right.
Give it.
Right. So that would be the route, rather than coming up with your own cash to buy the first property, and then use that money to flip something. Take that money and flip until you can start using your own cash. And then from using your own cash, now you have money in the bank and you can pull out these small business loans. And then when things get, when the rates aren't what you wanted, you can either use your cash or the bank loan. If the fees are too much, you say, okay, I'd rather see my money sit and use the bank loan, or I'd rather use my money instead of paying all these fees for the bank loan. So that would be my route for you. I would not worry about trying to personally qualify for an investment home.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, yes, it does. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And because you want to make your money work for you. And I should use the cash flow of the business to build the business credit, because now my money's working for me, and it's showing these banks that, hey, I got a lot of money coming in. I can afford to. I pay off my credit cards. I'm paying all of these bills with my Dun and Bradstreet number. That makes perfect sense.
Now I had a business for 3 years, and I closed it, and I wasn't thinking smart about it, but it's okay. So I closed it and decided that I didn't want it anymore. If I was getting monthly, I was getting what's it called? Letters in the mail. You qualify up to 500,000, 300,000. I had no money showing that I was making money. Like, I didn't report. That's why I closed, because I wasn't reporting, income. And I was like, it was just sitting because I had the name. The first year I made income. Second year I just let it go. Third year, let it go. So technically all I had to do was go ahead and give all my information, and I probably would have qualified for 300,000, use that money to take it to flip and do other things with it. But I didn't do that because I was kind of like, the one thing I don't want to do is flip.
Okay, because you don't want to flip houses.
Because a good flip was what, 30 to 50,000. They say the average person gets 30 to 50,000.
Gotcha.
So I can technically make that in a month, just if I focus on my real estate tasks.
Right.
So
gotcha.
Why would I want to hold on to something, go to a site, worry about people showing up to fix it, to do what they got to do and have a headache because something didn't happen or the town city isn't gonna, approve it. And that goes on for what, 3 to 4 months because I'm trying to flip it. And then after that, getting a buyer, it's sitting, or it may not sit, and then it probably won't sit. But at the same time now, I got to deal with the banks, the buyer's bank. What does the buyer bank want this house to have now that it doesn't have?
Right.
And then after that, at the end, I'm making what, 30,000?
Right.
That's how many months? That's like 5 months.
Gotcha.
So technically, it's what, 30,000 in 5 months. That's I might as well just focus on my real estate task.
So let's just say for an individual like me, owning multiple properties, owning 4, 5, 6, 7 properties, that also gives me a lot of leverage when I go to the banks and I want loans for maybe business endeavors, right?
It has to be liquid. It has to be able to be turned to liquid. That's the purpose of buying these properties. So if you have if you have a home that's, let's say you bought a home in South Jersey, you can easily get a home for 150,000, 200,000. So in a nice, 1,500 to 2,000, 1,500 to maybe 1,700 square feet. So in a yard, and you buy that, and you bought it for 150, and the market says your home is worth 150. You don't look marketable at all.
Gotcha.
You bought it for 150, and you have, they're going to do an appraisal.
But what if I have equity in it? Like, what if I for 5 or 10 years, and then I have some equity in it?
You can have equity up front. That's called a good deal. You shouldn't have to wait 5 to 10 years unless you're living in it. You say, okay. Gotcha. But as an investor, you want equity up front. You never want to come in at market value. That doesn't make any sense. That's not an investment.
Gotcha.
Purchase.
Gotcha.
All right. An investment is when you're walking into equity.
Okay.
And I try to do that for all my buyers because I tell them, you're not going to live here more than 5 years, and you're going to call me back, and I'm going to sell it and put money back in your pocket, and we're going to get a bigger home or wherever you want to live home.
Right.
And you're going to be paying either the same or less each month, or maybe it'll be cash. But you definitely, that's why I tell people, don't focus on a home don't go in a home and say, well, I need everything new. You're going to pay for that. Right? Big time. And it's going to be a monthly thing. You're going to pay interest on it, right? Because most of the money goes to interest in the beginning. They don't know. You'd be making $2,000 payment every month, and only like maybe 300 is going towards the principal, if that much.
Right.
After taxes and everything, right? So I always tell people, like, you want to make sure that when you're getting into something, that you're not focusing on the cosmetics. You're focusing on the structure. Remember, I said the first thing we do is we go into the basement. Then we look, I'm looking outside. You're looking at the yard. You're looking at your neighbors. I'm looking at the roof. I'm looking at the chimney. I'm looking at the vents. I'm looking at water intrusion. I'm looking at all that for you. Give you a heads up, right?
Yeah.
But like, if you're looking at cosmetics, I would say, listen, you mean to tell me you're willing to spend $150 more a month in your mortgage because this house is done all the way new, rather than living in it, and because you don't like this panel wall and you want it to be drywall, pay somebody like $1,500 to turn it to drywall, and you don't have a bill.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Green carpet, pull the green carpet out. Those are ththings you can change. The two things you can't change is location and size, and the flow of everything. It's
gotcha.
So, yes, it's just knowing what you're getting into. So now we're in COVID-19. We have tons of buyers, and half of them were denied after being approved.
Why? Because of the uncertainty of the market?
No, because we were able to get them approved with shaky credit. 600, 615 credit score.
Right.
Now banks, you have to be careful which banks that you're dealing with, because banks are saying, we want 640 and up. And if you want 620, your interest rate is going. See, the one thing people don't ask for is, well, how much is this going to cost me to get a loan at this credit score? Right. Just like, but now that's where it's like a car, right?
Yes, that's your leverage. The better your credit score, the better your leverage. Like when you're at the car dealer, You know, you could be at the car dealer, and if they're giving you these BS interest rates, you could be like, yo, look, man, I could go to the other Range Rover, or I could go to the other Lexus or Toyota, whatever it is, you know, because
I'll give you a trick for that, because you know I used to sell cars, right?
I can tell. What haven't you sold, Robin?
I sold furniture, appliances, cars, houses. No, shrimp, eggs. No. So the key to that is, if you, first of all, the one thing you don't do is you don't go into a car deal. I'm sorry to go off 10 on the car. I just gotta let people know. You don't go to a car dealership. They say how much you want your payment to be. You don't say anything. You say, how much is the car? Right? Because check this out. You and I, we both want, let's say, a Honda Accord. The Honda Accord is $20,000. You have so-so credit. I have excellent credit, right? We both go in there. My payment is let's say $300 a month. Your payment is $450 a month. The car still costs $20,000, right? So technically, we're both getting a car for $20,000, but why is your payment more? Because your credit is not as good. But if people don't tell you your credit score, and you don't know what your credit score is, when you go in and you apply, they could treat you like you have bad credit. So now I'm an uneducated buyer. I go into the car dealership. Well, I just want my payment to be under $400. They'll say, well, can you do $550? Because that's what they do, right? You say under $400, they say, can you do $550? Yeah. The next thing you do is, and you're like, no, I can do probably maybe $410. No, we can do $475. We can do $475. Oh, and then you think you can't get the car because it's $475 a month. But this car, me having great credit, I could actually go to a bank and say I need a car loan and get a competitive rate and come in there already knowing what I qualify for as far as how much car I want.
Right. Great point.
Right? I don't have to have the car dealership tell me what I need to pay a month. And the fact that I know that I have excellent credit, I know that the next thing I'm going to say, what rate are you charging me this at? Because you could say $450 and I'm still paying $20,000 for this car. They're charging you 16% interest or 14% interest, and you didn't know you had good credit and you qualify for 5% interest.
Wow. And they're breaking in the dough, because that's how they make their money, especially them used car places.
Oh man, I made so much money off of used cars. To the point
really?
I left because it was so crooked. I'm not lying. I wasn't in charge. I didn't know it was that crooked. Look, when I found out, I said, okay, all right, we got it. See, this is a whole nother conversation. See,
I gotta save my soul here. Yeah, that'll be part 2 of the interview. Listen, because before we close, I want to get into a couple things. Yeah. So, where do you see things going after this?
Okay, so this is what most of my buyers ask me, and believe it or not, we're still in a situation with low inventory. There's a lot of, in preparation for this, I tell people, get your credit, because that's what's it called? The fittest, the survival of the fittest.
Yes.
Right? So you're going to be the more powerful one. Standing up again. So many people lost their jobs or didn't work, didn't pay their bills, so their credit's going to drop. Right? Which that should be number one that the government should do, is put a pause on our credit. But whatever.
No doubt.
Right? So now you're going up against people, and you could have the best credit. It's still a situation of low inventory, because people now are like, I don't know if I can sell right now because I'm in a situation where I need to be here, or whatever may happen. There's still not that many houses on the market. So it's still low inventory. So it's supply and demand. So it's still an issue. It's still a seller's market, no matter how you see it.
Okay.
And will there be a flip later on? Maybe, but I don't see it happening for another year or two.
Wow.
So it's still competitive for buyers to shop right now. It's definitely not, it hasn't changed much, because right now it's kicking. Like, people are out there. We're looking for homes right now. I'm looking at buying, so it didn't slow down. In the beginning it did, but we got smart as agents, and we started doing virtual tours. And even still with a virtual tour, I'm still going inside to see the property. Right. If they gotta stay home, if it's better, look, you stay home, I'm going in the property. I'll FaceTime you. I'll show
Right.
you what I see. You don't have to come bring the whole family.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you want to, then you go in, I'll be in the car or I'll be at the door.
Yeah. I think this thing is going to start to, I'm hoping that middle of May, by June, we can like start to be coming back out into the world, you know.
It's not gonna be the same though, because I'm wearing my mask for a year.
Really?
My son, he makes 3D masks. So we have these big 3D masks that we put on our face. I'm wearing it for a year. I don't trust. You think I'm gonna? First of all, I'm a social body. Like I'm a butterfly. Like
Okay.
I love being in a social space.
Okay.
And I love traveling. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, people used to come up to me in the grocery store, hey, and they give me a big old hug. That's gonna stop.
Mm.
You know, I have a son who has a severe asthma problem. So if I bring something home to him, he's
Okay.
done. That's respiratory.
Okay.
And I'm not doing the vaccination right away.
Okay.
I'll watch people take it first.
Okay. and see. All right. So before we close, I gotta get out of here. Give me your 3 most important tips
All right.
in buying a home, in the home buyer process. What's your 3 most important tips?
First would be to make sure you're dealing with an experienced agent,
Mm-hmm.
right? That has done not several deals, that has done at least 100 deals, right?
Okay.
And they definitely can connect with me and I can help them find someone if they need.
Gotcha.
2, make sure that you're being educated on what your ins and outs are.
Mm-hmm.
Always ask what's my in and what's my out.
Okay.
How can I get out of this if I didn't want it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see by the agent's response whether they truly care about you.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they may say, oh, well, I'm not gonna deal with you if you're already thinking about being out. No,
Right.
you should be educated if you're not.
Right.
And 3, I would make sure that if you're gonna buy a home, if you need it right now, I would say really focus on your credit and so that you can be a strong buyer. But for example, if you just have like one credit card, right now is the time that if you're getting deals coming in the mail, please apply for the next one. I just did that with one of my buyers. The mortgage company told her, don't get another credit card. You might get declined. It might show negatively against your credit report. I told her, I said, do you have something that came in the mail? She said, yes. I said, okay. She was in the low 600s. This credit card that came in the mail is for people with 750 and above. She got qualified for $2,000. So you're going to need good credit. In order to gain good credit, you have to keep using credit and paying it on time, and don't use more than 1/3 of your credit limit. But when you pay on time and you use it, it'll help balance out on the positive side of if you have like so credit. So if you don't use your credit and you're just stuck, your score is just continuously going to drop or at least remain the same at the best case scenario.
Gotcha.
So focus on your credit, focus on getting a good agent, and save your money. And find out all the different types of programs that are out there for the types of home that you're interested in, whether it be renovations, move-in ready, something that's vacant, or something where a seller's there and eager to sell that will do the repairs. Because you buy a foreclosed home, the bank doesn't do repairs. So if you get an appraisal and the appraiser says you need things done, they won't get done.
Right.
So now you just lost out on the whole deal.
And you don't want that to happen.
Nope.
Tell everybody how they can find you. Give us your social media links.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. R to the C to the B, living. So it's RCB Living. If you Google that, RCB Living, you will find me everywhere, anywhere. YouTube, I have a podcast. I'm on Instagram. I have a Facebook. I'm actually showing people how to be self-sufficient. I'm growing sweet potatoes and herbs and everything.
Oh, wow.
I got thyme. I got vegetables. I got a greenhouse behind my computer.
Nice.
I have chickens. I show people how to be self-sustainable, like be sufficient and don't rely on the government to tell you what's next in your life. Be prepared.
Gotcha.
So I'm always doing cooking videos. So check me out. You can Google Robin RCB Carter, or you can Google RCB Living and find me there. I'm all over the place. So that's all.
Listen.
And text me anytime. You see my number up, just text me.
Yeah, listen, and we're gonna talk a little more because I'm gonna talk some business stuff with you, because you have a great mind, and as this thing lifts, I want to begin to, like I told you, I want to begin to make a couple of moves. So I'll hit you up off air, and listen, thanks for coming on the Conversations with Malik. I appreciate having you and all your expertise, and I end the show like I normally do. Brother Malik loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace.